like take certain things into the fair?
No, so for 4.
Okay, I got it on. Everybody, I got it on. I got it on.
So we're making an announcement that we're running a few minutes late. We'll be starting in about another 10 minutes. So if you're online there, just hold on.
Here.
I don't need to.
Well, welcome everyone. It is July 10th and at 7:38. We're a few minutes late and we apologize for that. But if you stand, we'll have the pledge and a short devotion. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So Lord, we thank you so much for the beautiful weather we're having. We pray that you be with all of our employees as they do their work, and be with the loved ones of our prior community member that was lost. And as we say goodbye to her, comfort those family members. Amen. So, do we have any changes to the agenda
I got something on 17th Street from the road.
under road?
Yeah.
What was that?
Something under for 17th Street.
Mr. Barron, you think you have anything for the agenda?
We're gonna talk about some purchasing and fire report.
Okay.
Thank you.
So have you had a chance to review the minutes?
Trustee Pierre moves to accept them as presented.
Trustee Varian, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustees will ask that you sign all the spots that are marked here when you do this. There's resolutions for ballot issues on there, along with the signing of the approval.
Oh my gosh.
3 or 4 times, lost track. While they're signing that, I will mention that zoning inspector Mary Brucker is on vacation tonight. I believe she did turn a report in, didn't she?
Yes, you have copies of that, and I can post them up here on the screen, John.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And if you have a chance to review the treasurer's report, might want to check that.
Trustee Varian moves to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Trustee Pierre second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're gonna move to public speaks, and I don't see anyone here for public speaks. So with that, we're gonna skip on down to the fire report and Chief Parker.
So I guess a little bit of what I have on my report has to do with what's on the written report, so I don't know how.
Let's look here. So to give a little background here before we move on, the premium pay funds that we've been paying to the fire department for time worked in the field, so when they're out in harm's way, has ended, and we received an email that we had to put a stop to that. It specifically said the pay of premium pay. Is that correct, Fiscal Officer Larry? And so there are still some funds available in that account to spend, but we just can no longer pay premium pay. So there's a couple things happening here. Amy and team, or maybe just Amy alone, has found a grant that I think we should look seriously into. There's funds out there to continue premium pay outside of the funds that we've received. So that's one part of this. And then the other part of this is probably the question of if we eliminate the premium pay, what are we allowed to spend those funds on and how quickly? And maybe that's a question for Fiscal Officer Lowry. Do we have certain parameters of those funds that won't be spent on premium pay if we stop now?
To give you the exact dollar amount, I do not have that because I don't have the last pays and stuff in there, but
Okay.
there is going to be available, it looks like around $20,000 to $22,000 range,
Okay.
that you trustees could certify to go to something else regarding to the American Rescue Plan. I know the fire department brought up about those cylinders, and I know you made a move to do some reconditioned ones. I think
Yeah.
there was 4 of them, if I remember right, without looking right at it.
Right. And that motion has already been called. And
Yeah.
Okay.
You can always amend that motion
Okay.
and adjust it to, I know we were talking, or I heard talk about the cost of all those bottles if you went with to replace them all.
Right.
You know, that money could be utilized there possibly.
Okay. Could we possibly use that money for hose as well? Like not as well, but in place of if the fire department felt that hose was more important than bottles.
I don't know without reading through that
Okay.
to answer that.
Okay.
I think it's a way of using it. We can figure something out.
All right. So just as a point of reference, as kind of talking about it, Amy and I are going to present to the fire department tomorrow at 8. And I told Amy that I'd go with her and participate. So as the chief, we set aside funds, we appropriated funds for the rest of the year. And so she and I are going to communicate with the fire department that that's no longer going to happen. And we're going to do that face to face, and we're going to explain that. It's out of our control, but at the same time, being the leader of the team over there, Amy told them it's through the end of the year, and now it's not. So we have to, just be cautious on that.
I would just ask that you do a resolution to end that on the July 8th at the end of that pay period, because the fire department's payroll is already in for that date and just end it on that one.
Okay.
So like start on the 9th Sunday moving forward.
All right. Would I be able to get a copy of the email?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay. Because I think I'm going to present that too, not in every word, but probably take that to the meeting tomorrow.
Can you send that to me as well?
And that was the only notice you ever received, correct, Brian?
What's that?
You never received any other things of like possibility. That was the only one you ever received on that, right?
On premium
You
pay.
received on spending or
On
received
stopping
On the premium
pay.
pay.
That's the only one.
It wasn't like something like we didn't
It wasn't
know idea.
coming,
We had no
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, and just trustees for the record here, let me find it so you can read it. If you want to read this, I received this in an email on June 19th.
So I do want to make note, Brian didn't receive it till June 15th, and the email is referencing that we should stop this as of,
April 10th.
it's Monday, June 19th is when he received it, April 10th.
April 10th.
And we didn't receive the notice till June 19th, which was mid-pay.
Right.
And we can only stop something like that with
When
a
we know
trustee
it.
resolution, which
Right.
we'll have to do tonight.
But originally, we had planned on
We had
carrying
budgeted,
it.
we had
go
budgeted
through
through
our
the year. Okay, so let's do this in the right order. Trustee Varian moves to resolve premium pay for the fire department.
Can you word that as American Rescue?
Sure.
Premium pay?
Trustee Varian moves to make a motion to resolve the American Rescue Fund. Is that okay? For the fire department, effective 7/8 of 23.
Trustee Puro seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would like to add to that resolution that we only received the notice to do this
On June 19th.
on June 19th.
Okay.
At the end of that, if that's acceptable,
We can add that to the.
so that the auditors see that when we
Yeah,
audit.
yeah, we need, this is an important email.
Yes.
It's an important email
It
with
is
the date on
on behalf of what's going to happen, because they're going to say, well, you should have ended that back on April 10th. Well, there was no correspondence with the office. There was no memos out, nothing until that one right there.
it. Okay. All right, so we've got that. Chief Parker, I know we talked about some hose. Do you have some prices on a few things for us? Okay.
So this is what I brought. So this is, I can forward this email. This is what I received from Ohio Billing. This is that grant.
Okay, great.
It's Ohio, not federal money. That is specifically for premium pay. So it sounds like there's about $20,000, which sounds like there's about what needs to be made up for. So the deadline on this is July 31st to apply for this money to pay premium pay.
Okay.
So the money exists and is available to replace what we just had to say is no more.
And Chief Parker, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but this is a replacement, but you've got to call it different. It's a different.
Yep,
Yeah,
different
Make
money.
sure
It's
you-
different
Yep,
money.
different
Sure.
money.
Make sure it's
Yeah.
said that way.
And it's a grant that has to be applied for.
Yes, you
It's
got to apply
it's
for
not,
it.
yeah,
You have 3 choices on that grant. When I read that through, it's a few hundred pages on all the different facets of it. It's not only premium pay, but there's 2 other things you can
Are
use.
they-
it. I don't know if you can use some up for the premium pay and some up for something else, or if you use it for premium pay, keep in mind, we've already paid premium pay out of the American Rescue up to date of July 8th. We can't go backdate it to July
No.
1st. You can't overlap those.
No,
Understood.
This, it's 20,000 per entity? Or there's 20,000 and everybody
No,
apply for
it's
it?
not 20,000 like total. 20,000 I
Per
believe
grant
is-
scholarship.
Okay, that's what I
Per grant
wanted.
Chief Parker, would you like to schedule a time for you and I to sit down
Yes.
and complete this grant?
Sure.
Okay.
I will do whatever it takes to
All right.
get that money,
All right.
different money
Okay,
so the second thing that I handed you is quotes. So we had talked about bottles. We did not purchase the 4 refurbished ones
Right.
in the interim since
And-
the last meeting.
and Chief Parker and I spoke after the meeting and we said to wait. So she did,
Correct.
we,
So
she
have
did what we
waited.
asked.
We have not purchased anything. We had talked about the need for bottles. The quotes that I'm giving you equal, so it's 20,365, but it is 7 new 30-year bottles. So it is not the 10 that we had originally said. It is less. The rest of it is LDH
That's the bottles.
hose, so supply line. That is also something that we need. At the end of 2022, we said we needed hose. We apportioned a certain amount and spent it last year, and said we were going to spend a certain amount this year. And we have not, and I get that that money is not there, but that hose is still a need. So this was a way to kind of split the difference and say, let's not buy 10 right now. Let's maybe buy 7 cylinders, which would be adequate. And then maybe next year we still buy those 2 more, or whatever the case may be. But those 2 quotes get us to, I think it's 20,365, but pretty close
Okay.
to the amount
And just as a point of clarity, the 7 you've got quoted here are 30 years.
they are. There are 7 brand new 30-year
Okay,
SCBA cylinders.
gotcha. So fiscal, sorry, go ahead.
So, fiscal officer, didn't you say we had like 26,000 left,
You said 20 to 22.
or 20 to 22?
To give you the exact number, I cannot do that
That's
because
okay.
I do not have the exact number. It's going to be between 20 to 25,000 range, depending on how this ends up. Because we had some that Trustee Pure was able to save on a readjustment of the road truck cost.
Okay.
So we have some there.
Is it safe to say we need to amend the last motion for the used bottles, or do we not want to do that till we make this
You
decision?
can either amend it to say that you're gonna do something else,
Okay,
and then that would let that one sit, and then just make a new one. You can
Okay.
amend to close,
How
or
much
you
were we
can,
paying for those bottles?
3,700.
34 grand.
4 bottles, I think it was
Was it
$2,700.
27? I thought we had 4,000
Yeah.
set aside. Was it 27? I might be wrong.
Yeah, it's 27 something.
Whatever the number was in the minutes, it's not right.
And this total, go to the total page.
14,000. But those, what those had,
Those are 730 years. These are new.
no, I know them used ones, but they have. how
They
many
had
years?
like,
5 years left?
yeah, they had less than 10.
Yeah.
They had
How
less
much is
than
that?
10 on them.
$14,115.
So that's total on 20,365,
Mm-hmm.
and we're only paying 2,700? Because we have to use all of this money. And at this point here, I don't think you're gonna use it all once he gets a final total. It's possible you're still gonna have some setting there.
There's also other things, as long as we do it here, I don't know that deadline, I have to relook at it, revisit it. Because once I get this report done for American Rescue that I just was able to get on that website, I
Mhm.
announced at the last meeting,
Mhm.
I'm going to apply for whatever it is, when you tell me that bottle, what you want to do, because I think we have enough to do the bottles.
I
If you
think
want
we
to.
should keep the 5 bottles because the price is so low. And if
The
we,
used ones?
the used ones,
All right. What,
Well, let me ask you
and
this.
then do the 7.
Fiscal officer Larry, where was the $2,700 coming from that we made an amendment or a motion on last?
That was coming out of the fire fund.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that money wasn't coming out of this. So
No.
It
that's
was not coming
that's
out.
going to put that money back into the fire fund, which is kind of important right now.
how much is the new bottle, one bottle?
It would say on there.
Yeah.
I would have to do some division.
It's $1,000. It's $2,000 a bottle.
Yeah.
It's a 1,995.
Isn't the idea to buy a bottle a year after this?
2, yeah.
2 a year, 4
Well, if
grand.
you're 30 years, if you bought, how many you got? You want 19 or something to,
So, yeah. So we have 11 currently in service. So that's 7 would
So
get
that'll
us
get us to 18. Yeah. But what I was saying is if we spend this money out of what's left in the American Rescue Fund, then that 4,000 or that 2,700 that we had spent would go back into fire, which
Mhm.
we kind of need that money in fire.
okay.
Does that make sense? Or we buy the used bottles and the new bottles and the hose all out of the American Rescue.
Right.
I could do that as well.
I mean, honestly, if we're buying the 7 new bottles, there isn't the reason that we were buying the used ones was to buy us time.
To save money.
So these 7 would be
You'd rather not have the used ones if you
correct.
if you could choose it. Okay.
Well, I don't, I don't think it's that great of a deal because you're the new ones,
The new one's 2,000.
but it's good for 30 years.
30 years.
These are
And I
only,
think the 15 year was like 17. It was like $400 or $500 from the 30,
Yes,
15
for
to
a
30.
15-year to a 30-year.
1,500
The
or $2,000,
difference was
It's
not,
it's kind
yeah,
of
you're
small.
better off getting the 30-year bottles.
Okay.
So if we don't get them, and he comes back and says, well, we got 25,000 or 26,
Yeah, we didn't.
now we're gonna have another 5,000 yet to spend.
That won't be an
department might need some.
Well, that has to be
That's right.
COVID related. Sorry, the road department doesn't qualify.
Well, the other thing we could do is we could send the hose in and have the hose purchase put in because we know we have at least that money, and then we could buy new bottles up to an amount, whatever's left. If we get 8 bottles out of it, because that's what we have to get 9 bottles out of it. We could go that route too.
I mean, if there's more, we can
Yeah.
get more, but this gave us close to that 20,000 number
Yeah. Right.
and allowed us to buy the hose that we
That you need.
know that we need.
That you know you need. Okay.
So we could do that. You're gonna cancel the other motion that we did.
I think we should.
That was only for 4, not 5.
It was 4, correct?
4 recondition.
Mhm.
And then
I had said it was.
you're gonna have 2 separate motions here, one for the hose. And I'm fine with doing the hose. I know our hoses are not in the greatest of shape, so. But when you do the bottles, I would do it as many bottles as we can purchase with the funds that are left.
Okay.
Because we won't know what that is until Brian completes his process.
So resolution 23-197 was on the bottles. It was $4,700. So you're going to amend that to,
So trustee Varian moves to amend motion 23-197. We are no longer going to purchase the used bottles. We're going to purchase new from a different fund.
So you said amend it. Are you just canceling that and let's make a new motion?
Canceling it and make a new motion.
So we're stopping that resolution.
Stopping that resolution.
Trustee Pierce seconds.
All in favor? All
Aye.
right. Do you need roll call on that?
it doesn't hurt. Varian,
Yes.
Griffith,
Yes.
Piro.
Yes. I don't mean to muddy the water, but, rather than buy more bottles, would it be better to have another battery or two if that where we?
For that cot. Did those batteries come in and they work?
They did.
They work?
Working.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good.
I mean, I'll be honest, I've got a list as long as I am tall of things that we could probably use,
Right.
but the batteries
just-
are working.
Trustees,
No, I
always
didn't know if you
remember,
needed
I gotta
another one
look
or,
at what you
or,
can use.
yeah, I
that.
know they're working.
Yeah.
If you're not using it,
you have
I
enough
think
or-
bottles
Yeah.
are good because it talks about anything to protect the firefighter or EMS.
Is there anything else that's more pressing?
Do you think hose is going to be hard to pull off?
It does say about replacing equipment, but it was referring to all the medical, like your EMT stuff. It was referring to that.
Mm-hmm.
What I can remember reading this was 6 months to a year ago.
Yeah,
we were
right.
doing this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Fiscal Officer Lowry, do you want us to table this until you figure it out, or can we make motions that fall into place?
How are you on bottles? I mean, can you get by? I see
Yeah,
you
11.
smiling, so that means we need to do something. If you,
Okay.
Why can't we just approve them bottles and then finish it up next meeting?
We could.
you could,
We could do this.
I mean, if we want to get these.
And if there's
then
money
we
left,
come back and see what we got and
do it
decide
again.
and decide
You
what we
could
want
do
to
it
do.
that
And if you'll call it in enough time, you'll probably ship them all together. I mean, it might be 2 orders, but you want to do that? Or-
Yeah, we
Are
can
they
do
charging
that.
shipping?
Because like
Oh,
Brian
okay.
said,
Yeah,
she's gonna have to
shipping.
check to make sure the hose qualifies.
150. It looks like they have two shipping and freight charges at 75 a piece, so 150. So it looks like 4 bottles fit on a pallet. It looks like. So if Brian thinks that, if Fiscal Officer Lowry thinks we have around 20,000, we could get away with doing these. He'd have to check on the hose to make sure that's good. And then when we come back, there should be a couple $1,000s left that we decide what to do with. And then we
I
can.
don't think we can do the hose though till he knows that we can do that.
Okay.
Let's just do the bottles.
Let's just do
Yeah.
the bottles, wait for the hose, and then whatever's the remainder. Okay.
So you know that amount will cover those bottles for sure. And then if we need to add more bottles on, we can.
All right.
And I would tell you to look at your long list
Yeah.
in case the hose doesn't qualify, in case we have to go to something different.
All right. So we're going to table the hose for now, and we're going to make a motion to buy some bottles. All right. Trustee Varian moves to pay Dalmatian fire equipment $14,115 for the purchase of 7 new 30-year carbon fiber no valve cylinders, new, at the cost of $19.95 per. With shipping everything, we're at $14,115.
Trustee Piro seconds.
And that's coming out of the American.
That's coming out of the American
Rescue
Rescue.
Fund.
repeat those numbers one more time. I
Sure.
know I'll have that document.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. 14,115 even
Okay.
to Dalmatian fire equipment. So I'm gonna send that down. to Brian.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Then our next meeting will be on the 24th of July. And we can, at that point, follow up and see how much money's left.
And as a point of reference, I will be on vacation that night. I'm sorry. I can zoom in though, if you need me to. And fiscal officer, or I'm sorry, Fire Chief Parker, when we meet tomorrow, let's put a calendar date on for Coach County.
Yes.
And we'll find a time to just meet in your office and knock this grant out.
Yes.
You probably have everything you need in your office, I think, to fill in all those gaps.
No idea.
Okay, we'll give it a shot. All right, cool. We'll try to do it this, I'd like to do it this week.
Yep, so I'll be on vacation next week.
Okay, let's do it this week. All right, perfect. Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Looked like it was a quiet 2-week period.
Somewhat. We did manage to get 2 squads out yesterday at the same time.
At the same time?
We did.
Have you visited the new community out of East Canton?
Lots of times.
Oh, yeah? How many times have you been, do you think?
Several times a week usually.
Several times a week? Okay.
Uh-huh.
All
Yeah,
right.
and I don't even think all the apartments are rented out yet.
Oh, they're all full.
Oh, they're all full?
Yeah.
Great. That helps a little bit knowing that. Yeah,
Okay.
we're there often.
Cool. Okay. And is the road open? I'm just curious.
I don't know the
think
answer
so.
to that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, the road is
The
open.
road's open. Yeah. But they haven't accepted it yet. Or...
We don't know.
I don't know
who-
that.
who's gonna
Okay,
be
gotcha.
What's
there.
that?
You don't know who's gonna get it.
They had taken 2 votes on it the last time I heard. It was not unanimous. I think there was 1 person voting against it each time.
Okay.
But they had 1 more vote to go, and it should have, I don't know how it ended up. So I haven't heard that they didn't, so
Okay.
they have to do 3 readings under village rules.
Okay. Oh, great.
I do know that we're still waiting on the main electric panel for the.
Oh, that hasn't come in yet?
They canceled it again,
Oh, gosh.
delayed it. I should say they delayed it.
Oh, jeez.
So,
I do not want to make that power box. I'm not interested.
so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that opening on the 1st.
Oh.
Because I don't think we're allowed in that building unless, yeah.
So it has occupancy and you can turn lights on.
So, but it's very much an inconvenience for the residents because that's where the washer and dryer is for them. So, if anybody knows anybody high up at AEP, we could use their help. So, I know there's a shortage nationwide on those panels, but
Right.
it was ordered over a year ago.
Oh, my gosh.
That's not good.
Okay, is that it, Chief Parker then?
That's it.
All right, let's move on to cemetery report and Ryan.
All right, we had a burial at Mapleton on Saturday. Turned the money into fiscal officer Lowry. That all went well. The only other thing I have is, was contacted this morning from a family that owns lots at Mapleton. He and his wife are looking into their final arrangements, and they think they're gonna go the cremation route. They want to know if they would be allowed to erect a columbarium, like similar to this, on their lot to inter their ashes in.
Oh,
It's not much bigger than a normal headstone, just a little deeper.
yeah.
They said before they proceeded and definitely bought anything, they wanted to make sure that it was okay. And I said, I don't know, I've never had that question before. I will bring it.
I think as long as they're staying on their own lot.
And it definitely, they own a double lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rules are, Sexton Ryan had reached out to me earlier and I had a chance to get on the Ohio Township Association. You know, you're in a township, anything new, you can always grandfather old stuff in, but they talk about the 24-inch height. This is 27, but there is headstones, the cemetery section can make that call that you can go higher. The width of this is a normal footer base is around 16 to 18, and I think Ryan can correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes with a 3-inch margin, he's putting in anywhere from 20 to 24-inch width deep footers. The width is 32, so he's putting in 48 and 50 some inch footers, the lengthwise. That piece that you're seeing there that the person sent would fit way within the margins. Just the height is 37, which is not much higher. It might be 6 inches higher than some of the average stones, but we have headstones over there a lot higher.
It's not gonna look way
It's
out
not
of
gonna
place.
look
I mean,
way
it's-
out of
Right.
place.
It's not like,
Size-wise, it's very comparable to what we have.
yeah, it's not like a cemetery where everybody has flat or.
We have to
don't
look
do
too,
that,
the
so.
niche size is 12 by 12 by 12. So that's only a foot.
And this
You
would,
know, so you think about it, that's only 2 feet of that.
Mhm.
and
So
it
it's
would
not,
on-
can't be huge.
yeah, and it would only be sitting in the lineup. It wouldn't be like in front of it or anything.
It'll be in the
on
line of the
lineup.
other stone.
What happens, all right, so
I know what you're getting at.
this isn't a standard headstone. So what happens if it needs to be moved out of the way?
Why would it need to be moved?
I just seen before where if
When they-
digging issues
When
or
they dig, they had to move it. They had to move one over for it to
to get in,
Yeah.
or any reason, if you had to, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying.
Weighs 1,000 pounds, Stewie.
That,
Can we
that's
lift
not what I'm
anything
worried about,
strapped on?
is you're physically picking.
Yeah.
It's not like moving a headstone.
Yeah, you're
Right,
picking up,
this is pieces put together.
I'm just thinking
you're
out
picking up
loud.
two boxes of ashes too.
That's what I'm worried
Picking up
about.
two. So when we've not done this before. So is that plot of ground then marked buried in, even though they're above ground? Like their lot will then be marked off as complete, even though there's not a coffin in
Well,
it?
they paid for it.
They
Yeah.
paid for it.
Yeah.
They paid for the right
It's
of
marked
interment. They
done.
do not own the lot. They own the right to interm to be buried there.
Got it.
So when that spot, like say that's at the footer,
Mhm.
at the headstone area, say another family member of their heirs could be buried a cremation or a full in
Okay.
front of that. But where are they gonna put the headstone? Because that will probably take the spot.
Of the head.
So they would have to use a flat marker.
Okay.
That would have to be the cemetery sexton's
And
call.
that's a pretty common practice.
Is a
You know,
flat
when
marker in
headstones
front
already
of-
there, they want to
Yeah.
bury cremains, they put a flat.
So are you okay with this?
And I spoke to the guy, I won't say at length, but quite a bit this morning, and he said, you know, they're at the stage where they're just looking into this and they want to start shopping. He said, we're not going to go out and get something that's going to make the cemetery, you know, gaudy and ugly. And he said,
I'm not worried about it, and I'm not even against it. I just wanted to just,
Yeah.
just
So-
curious. Yeah.
I have a question. Is it this one solid piece or is it,
I don't think so, but I can't answer that. I don't know.
I've seen them in other cemeteries. That is a solid piece when they set it down. See that base that's under it?
yeah,
That base on some of them is actually made finished, but it's one solid base on it. So I'm assuming when they carve that out, they're cutting that out because they're gonna slide those cremated, like in a mausoleum where they
Yeah.
slide you in, and they're gonna seal the front of that when they
so
put
what's
you in.
the tall piece that's open? Is that just
Is
like a
that for
corner?
the memorial, for the
Hey.
names?
No,
well,
other pictures I've seen, you put a flower vase there or an angel
Yeah.
statue.
Okay, so
Okay.
it stays open.
It's like, yeah, it's like,
This
a
part
staging
here
area for
stays
something.
open,
Okay.
yeah.
Their
So-
names would be, and dates would be carved on that black.
Yeah. On
And the last name would probably go in the triangle
in
piece
the
at
triangle on the
top.
top.
Yeah.
Yep, got it.
My only concern would be is if it's one solid piece and we need to move it, okay, but if it's not one solid piece and we need to move it, then we have a problem.
is these fairly new? They've been doing this for,
No, I don't think.
I just wondered, did maybe they put these all in one section?
They already own their lots.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right
Yeah.
in like a row of all their family
Yeah.
members.
Yeah, I don't,
I don't have a problem with it.
Brian,
I'm good with it.
I have a question. When he was talking to you, did he say like what company he was dealing with at all? Give you any inkling?
He wants to come up and talk to Lang Monument.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a local company. It's not like they're ordering it from out of state and shipping it in.
Well, so if they buy that, they'll probably place it now,
Yeah,
as soon as they even get, yeah.
there's, I know, a backlog on marble, so it might take them 6 months to even get it.
Okay.
All right.
He was asking for my permission
Yep, I'm a thumbs
to
up.
find out if they were allowed to do this. Now, if you guys say you want to see your final proposal and okay it, how do you want to proceed?
I think it's close enough to the other stones that are there that we probably, it'd be different if it was 3 times the size.
Only thing, trustees, I would ask is that we should double check all the township Ohio Revised Code to make sure that there's nothing in there that would be alarming. That say you do this, and the next guy wants a bigger one, or the next guy wants to take something out, start from it, so you don't open a can of worms that we can't, control it in some way to make it uniform so it don't get all out of hand. I don't have a problem with it. I just think we need to make sure we do a little bit more homework on it, if you don't mind considering that.
I think that's a good idea, because you might get somebody that wants to put 6 or 8 people in it, you never know.
And they do make these, this is a double one, they make them 4, 6, 8.
We
They
can
get
always,
huge.
we can always use our rule, a 2 grave lot, you could only do 2, something like that too, to think about it.
I just think you need to get more information on it. I'm not opposed to it, and I think it fits in with the size of other headstones, so it should be able to do. But, and maybe we need to adjust what rules we have for our cemetery so that we don't have somebody coming in trying to put like an 8 one in. That would be a much bigger. So I do see some.
I don't think you would have any trouble there because we already have a regulation on how many burials per lot.
But I thought for cremations,
You
What is
do-
it?
Your
It's
rule,
more.
your rules is a 2 grave lot, but the cemetery sexton in Ohio Revised Code has that power. Let's say 2 full graves are buried there. He could still bury an infant or someone else and cremate it at the foot of those graves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can make that call. So he could bury 4 people on there, 2 full size and 2 cremations.
But aren't we capped at 3 per
3 cremations.
per single?
Yeah,
Per single.
actually, I think it's 4 because up where
I
we
think
have
it's 4 too.
our indigent burial area, that was spaced into 4 spots.
Okay.
So that's my concern then. But
We-
those 4 spots would not have 4 headstones over
No,
them.
they have 4 flat stones. It's, you
So
all
maybe
made a
that's the key.
resolution back when you did that at that time.
So should I tell him we're not opposed, but we'd like to,
We just want to
We have
get
to
it,
check revised
just wanna
code,
get it
things
right.
like that.
but he can proceed to,
yes.
Oh, he can get his information too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to know if it's all one piece.
I appreciate him calling and asking. I mean, that's the right way to do it.
Yep, that's perfect.
Yeah, we're not here to stop them, we just want to make sure we get it right.
and I think he would appreciate that. He's a pretty reasonable guy.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have.
All the trees are either down or standing?
All's good.
Okay. All's good in the forest. All right, let's move on to the road report and Superintendent Ungerford. Thank you.
The trustees have looked over the road report. Is there any questions you'd like to ask?
So how did that go, taking that emulsion back and then drawing it out? Shall I not?
They made it sound like they were giving us a free load, but they didn't give us a free load. They sucked it back out and gave us another, they refilled it with RS2, but they still billed us. After us having to run up there twice. Because Brian still got the bill, and I called him up and I talked to him, what one guy said versus what billing said.
I wondered how that was going. I wondered how they could eat that whole load. They should have took a little bit off, but I was.
Stu, did we give, I think when I'm looking at the billing on the gallons on that load, when they went back up and they pumped that out, I think we may have received a little bit more.
We did. We received more of the RS2 than we did of the gallons of that dry tack. And they said they didn't care, that was fine. They just left the bill like it was and we had to pay for that. So we got a few gallons free. Even though we had to run up there twice.
Mistakes happen.
Yep. I've never had that happen before, but that's the first time.
So how are we with the mowing of the roads? Are we on schedule?
We're doing all right. I mean, we've
Kinda
had
slow.
breakdowns, but we do every year. Right now, we're waiting, like you see there in new business, we're waiting for parts, and I needed to approve that for the new table and bolts for that boom mower.
We got the money for that. We're good.
Yeah.
Trustee Pruitt moves to order parts for the boom mower not to exceed $2,700. Oh, they are.
No, 2,000.
It's not for
The next one
Not-
below, the
not the
next
same
one below
vendor.
is not the same.
Who's your
sorry,
vendor on the
all right.
first one?
Trustee Pruitt moves to order the table and bolts for the boom mower not to exceed 2,000.
And what company is that?
Who's your vendor?
That's Tiger.
Tiger mower.
Trustee,
Is that way it comes billed in under Tiger or it comes in under something else? That's
Could be
what-
Leader Machinery.
That's what it is.
Trustee Varian seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Puro moves to order 2 flange blocks for the flail mower not to exceed $700 from.
Vote. Trustee Varian second.
All in favor?
uh,
Aye.
Thank you.
The flail mower is still out running because he's got seen
Yeah.
today.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have any applications for a job?
The office did not receive any.
Okay.
I can tell
We got
on
one coming.
I can tell on the website, on the GoDaddy, it tells us we had 60 some hits on on that tab.
Okay.
Now, I can't tell some of the IP address where it gives you some basic information were from multiple people looking at it. But the office has not received anything.
Okay.
We didn't put a deadline on that, did we?
Yes,
Oh, we did?
19.
Okay.
I put the ad in, if you can read it.
Does it state the general wage in the ad or no?
It doesn't have a wage, but it does say 100% of your medical, vision.
I didn't know if the wage was scaring
Yeah.
people.
Oh,
You know, I didn't know. I was just curious.
That all
Okay.
depends on what they know and what
Yeah.
kind of experience.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, being at Bernie's machine is down because of waiting for parts. We've been out trimming roads, the ones that we're chipping and sealing. We went out today, the 3 of us, after Mike even got back from getting out of load of motion. Did a bunch of Fairhill, trimming the ones back and up as high as we can reach.
There you are. High school diploma, GED required, CEOs required positions. Okay.
I think that's about it though for me as far as parts or anything.
Was there an application link attached to that then?
Yeah, there's a click here below.
There's actually 2 or 3 places they can get to
Okay.
on that they can click on the bottom of it.
Did we get that
They
out
do
on
that,
Facebook?
and then you can go in, it goes in
Yes,
more in
I
depth.
think I
and
saw
go
it
to
on there.
I was looking this morning and I didn't see it.
I'm about 99% sure I don't know how to tell you to get there, but I think I seen it scrolling through.
Did you talk with Michelle at all? Yeah.
That's where I think I saw it, the Community Connect.
I did not talk to Michelle.
Somebody had pasted that on.
Okay. I was on today, this morning, I didn't see it.
Okay.
You mean ours? It was put on within hours after I posted on ours. Somebody snagged it and put it
Then
on.
put it up there,
I didn't see it today. I
Maybe
see
it's
it.
buried
It's been a couple of days.
It's
ago.
not so much buried, you have to scroll.
You gotta
through
scroll, okay.
and you'd
Well, that's
see
good
it.
that they
Okay.
tagged it. That's good.
Well, I'll
People
find it
seeing
and try to reshare it then.
All right. I can't do.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, hopefully we get some applications.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, anything else?
No, that's about it.
Okay. And we're gonna go on to zoning.
We've got 2 more. Did we already do the
Oh, did you
A
have
and
something?
B on the road on our agenda?
Okay.
I got that update on 17.
So A would be,
That's for the Parks Avenue project. The portal's been set up. You need to designate me as the
as the person.
person out front, and me and I've been talking to the Paris Township trustees, and Brian's gonna show me how to log in, so we can start getting this application.
You're gonna use the computer and log in?
Mhm.
Okay,
Trustee Puro had asked about getting that on. I do have the way of getting on there, but the very first question, they want to name the project. They want to know how many townships are involved.
Okay.
And then once you get going, the next thing is the name, who's going to be the head person.
Who's the main contact?
Yeah, who's the main contact? That's what I believe Trustee Puro is asking here. And it looks like even though as signing on, any township could do it, and Trustee Puro could be our representative for us, but he could be the spearhead of the whole thing. He can do that by you guys voting him.
Oh,
And once he gets going, I'm sure the other ones are going to say, sure,
sure.
Trustee Puro.
We're not going to tell you no.
isn't this the project though, that we're like 20% of the whole project and the other two townships are all the rest of it?
Trustee Puro can lean on them other times.
Paris Township is very willing to help. They're not, they just,
So fiscal officer, it's kind of like whoever gets to the portal first claims it, so to speak. Like if Paris got on and said, we want our guy to be the lead, they could type that in. Is that right?
Think of it this way, trustees, all townships have to produce the documentation of what they're doing on in-kind work. They
Okay.
have to keep records of road departments. All that has to be turned into someone. That someone, if Randy's that person,
Okay.
has to go to him, then that has to be put in on that grant.
On that portal.
Yeah,
Okay.
on that portal.
All
I
right.
will have to, as the fiscal officer, no matter what, do our share with the road superintendent, with Randy, based on the Parks Road on our section, all the information he gives, I'll have to for sure do ours, but the portal was open to put all those other.
The other fiscal
information.
officers have to get on there and do theirs. Right. So,
Whether they put it on or they have to funnel it to one person in charge, which would be,
so obviously we can say that we want Randy to Mr. Trustee Perry to do our end. Can we also say we want him to be the leader of the whole thing?
well,
without
I
the
think you
permission of the
can,
others?
you can right now.
Okay.
that gives me power.
He gives them power to do it.
Okay.
You trustees might want to look at if Trustee Puro runs into issues with somebody else, like one of the other townships, that he would come and discuss that with you, some way, shape, or form. That I think in-kind work or anything there that you're always aware of it. That way you guys are all in the loop of what's going on here.
Do you want this in two resolutions? One as representative Osnaburg and one as representative of the project? Do you want it two?
You can do it together,
Okay.
because if you're doing it together, ultimately it's going to come out of this office.
All right.
And-
All right. Trustee Varian moves to designate Trustee Puro for the Paris Road OPWC
Parks Avenue.
Parks Avenue issued 2 grant applications. It looks like in this motion, we would like for Trustee Puro to be the lead contact person for Osnaburg and for the project.
And is that the name of the project? Do we have the name yet?
It should have a name of 2324, like /, because some of the in-kind work that can be done this year leading into more, you need to kind of maybe specify that in the name.
I don't think any of that can be done because that goes into the grant. So
Well, it names it, you can name it. That's
Well, I understand you could name it, but you can't get any funding.
No,
You'd have to pay for it and then you'll get your money back.
everybody pays for
To
their
open
share
up
of
the
in-kind.
website, you're gonna have to say the name of your project.
No, I know, I
So
understand,
what's
but
the name?
Yeah, just the name. is
Parks
what we're
Road,
looking at.
Parks Road 2324.
Yeah, something like that. Is it
Parks
going to be
Road.
chip and seal the whole thing, Ryan? I mean, that's
yes,
the goal.
it all has to be chip and seal.
Parks Road 23-24. All right, I've got a motion on the table. Have a second?
Yes.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, cool.
So what's the next resolution request here?
We got hauling bill.
We had some hauling done for number 9. Stu might be able to tell, but I think one of our trustees helped us out on that to get it here. And
So
I think he's wanting you all to look that over.
we're not approving a bill yet. We're just approving the use of Puro Farms to haul rock, correct?
There's going to be a bill.
But we're approving the,
Yeah.
okay,
The
So,
material has already been approved
Got
by y'all.
okay,
It's just the hauling factor of it.
got it, okay.
it was already hauled.
Yes.
Yeah, several ones.
And so
Gotta keep dirt patching.
I think before we discuss this, you need to go back and look down at the state of Ohio rules. Because I don't think this is going to pass the ethical rules at the state of Ohio. So, I mean, I'll go for myself and look, before I vote on it, I want to know that I'm not committing something that I shouldn't be doing. Because typically, we don't do that. But it may be fine. Is there a person or is it Puro Farms? I guess that's what it's coming down to.
I didn't know it. Rudy hauled it.
Well, you have an LLC.
So,
Randy.
no, so there are certain,
You're an LLC, right?
yeah,
Who
there are
else?
certain family members that cannot do things and other ones that can.
That's right.
And so parents are not allowed. You're not allowed to do anything with parents. You're not allowed to do anything with your immediate children, your spouse, but nieces, nephews, things like that, they're not included. So there is a whole thing out there that says who you can do things with and who you can't. And this is really just for your protection. Do you own Puro Farms?
I don't remember.
I don't want you to get
You
in
can
trouble.
change the name of it. I don't care.
Well,
No,
Rudy-
I don't want you to get in trouble for something that you haven't looked at yet.
Rudy, his son, is who did the hauling, but the equipment might be, just to make sure he's got it all covered.
I think what you look at too is if it's hauled by, obviously if a bill is written to one of the trustees or the fiscal officer, it's different. But being that it's a farm and it's an entity, if it's an LLC, and Randy has 50% ownership or 25% ownership of the LLC, that's the thing you should look for, is how much ownership in a company. Is it any percent of ownership it's not allowed, or is it a partial ownership or all ownership? I completely understand.
You can take this out, change it, change your resolution to his name.
He's your son though, so it'd be the same thing. Is it Rudy your son?
Yeah, but I'm not financially gaining on it.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just telling you, there's rules at the state that are very specific on this.
He plowed snow. What's the difference?
Well, because we
He's
hired
He's
him
been hired
and you didn't vote on it. Cliff and I agreed to hire him.
Then you can agree to hire him to haul snow.
and then Rudy would make a bill, but he's your son. That's what I think Trustee Griffiths might be thinking.
Yeah,
I
the
think-
way it's on here isn't gonna.
I think you look at the ownership side of it. You look at the LLC ownership and see what it says.
I don't think it matters.
Isn't he one
Just-
of our part-time employees?
Yes.
Yeah, but he wasn't running our truck. He
Now,
was
say
running.
if he was
running.
driving our truck to go get it.
Yeah, he wasn't on our time. He was, running it. That changes it.
I think we just need to table it till next time, and we need to look into it a little more. I don't want anyone getting in trouble because I think it was what did with good intentions. But
I don't see anything happen to Rudy either, because I don't want to keep him as a driver.
so
For
all of you
Bob.
need to set through ethics training because I don't agree with all that they say, but that's the rules from the state. They're not my rules. I've sat through 3 different levels of ethics training every year.
And I go to
This is a
that,
red flag.
I go to this all
How
the
long
time.
are you good for?
Hmm.
How long are you good for? How much you got left?
I got enough for about a week or week and a half, depending on how much I use.
What do you want to do if he runs out?
Call someone else to haul. That's the problem. The state's going to say, well, you didn't have to use a trustee's son to haul or his business or whatever you want to call it. You could have called some other business. And so you're showing favoritism because you're using, I'm just telling you what the state's going to say about it.
No,
You would have to say there
I'll
was
do
no
whatever
one
you
else
guys
available
say.
to haul.
I'll do whatever you guys say.
I'm not saying to do it, I'm just saying someone needs to look at it because
No, I-
That's up to you
you
guys.
could go to jail for doing something.
I
I
don't
think
see
they just
anybody
put-
get in trouble or anything happen to
Exactly.
anybody.
It's convenience, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want it, I'm just saying you should need to.
No,
look at
I'm
it.
just saying, if you're gonna go with somebody else, you better approve and get some loads coming, because I don't think the time factor is gonna be in his favor. That's all I'm saying, is if you want him to go ahead and get a couple semi-loads coming, you probably ought.
I have a question before Rudy hauled. What were we doing before? Because I had other bills from other haulers.
Well, we were having Goat Hill bring it from another company
Another company, that's what.
that they would go in and out of when they were over there.
Okay.
That's why we used them, because I was told by Brady Sickles when he sold his trucks and didn't haul anymore.
How much are we getting volume wise? How many tonnage?
It all depends on,
Just a rough estimate,
huh?
200 ton?
We've only brought three loads in.
So far,
Roughly.
it was only $281, $17.75 a ton, I remember. the
Yeah.
bill. It was $287 for however many tons you brought in.
I mean, they've only had about 15 to 18 ton each time, so
Okay.
multiply that
There you go,
times
yeah. 45 ton total, something like that, 15 to 18.
I mean, doesn't John Parker haul too?
he's busy hauling asphalt. No,
Well, I would look around or look into, you can call down to the state and tell them what the scenario ask if, is this a problem? And they'll answer you.
You know, I ultimately think if you do that, they're gonna say, maybe trustee Pirro abstain, and they're gonna say that as long as the other two trustees are okay, we'll be fine.
I think you need to ask first though. Get an answer and then you're good.
I don't care either way, I'm just telling you, he's gonna run out of stone and he ain't gonna be able to get it. It's not as tough getting somebody to haul something, am I right or wrong, Stu?
no, nowadays it's getting harder.
If you
What's
wanna
his name?
approve
And
somebody
it all
else.
depends on when they're down there, like with Goat Hill,
Right.
they wasn't always down there, and the only time they would bring it back for me is they were taking a load over there by PA.
Well, we've never approved it separately. It was just part of his ordering of his stone. We never approved Goat Hill to haul.
No, I just grabbed them because they went down there and they were right next door to where that outfit was.
Goat Hill's out of business, they don't exist anymore. Right?
If they are, I didn't hear that. I didn't know.
I thought you said they sold the trucks.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. Because I haven't used them because we went to this gray limestone. I haven't hauled any white limestone in.
Well, I don't know, I thought Sickles was Goat Hill, wasn't he?
No,
Yeah, I don't think so.
no.
Okay, well then I'm wrong, then
No.
disregard that.
Goat Hill's totally different. They're over around Alliance.
Well, I've not done enough ethical training to know what I'm talking about, so I don't want to talk out of turn. But we could use, if we wanted to wait and see to make sure we're doing it right, we could call Eckroat and see if he'll haul on he's got a big triaxle down. If we needed something short, I mean, he's down the street. I don't know how often he's out. He might be out on hauling asphalt. I don't know. But he's one that we've already had in here and we know to haul a couple of those until we figure this out, if that was something we needed to look into. But I don't know enough to speak on it. I'm sorry.
I can try to call Goat Hill and ask them too.
Where's everybody else getting it from around us? The other people are Dura patching, and where are they getting it from?
Well, there's not a lot of people probably using the gray.
Was
I
that the
start
only
trying.
reason we're doing that, is the gray?
You can only get gray at certain areas.
So that's one reason though, is gray, is that's located.
It's harder. It's not been as dirty,
Better stuff.
and it's been cheaper and better
Oh, it's cheaper.
going through the machine.
It's
working out pretty good.
It's over there.
Where are you getting it,
That ain't
Steve?
local.
Where are you getting it?
Clear over by the PA line, Ohio PA line.
But you need to call down and ask the question. If you're on the OTA website It tells you, gives you a number to call. And give the scenario to them and say, is there a problem for us doing this if I don't vote on it? The name of the person it tells you to.
They might not say nothing, they might say it's all
Or
right.
I'm not saying that
Right.
they will, but I'm
So,
saying,
I know what you're saying, you just wanna cover
It
a bunch
doesn't
so
look
nobody
good.
gets in trouble, or,
right,
That's what you're trying to avoid here. You don't want
Right.
anybody in trouble.
I understand what you're saying.
so if they say it's fine for him to keep hauling, then you guys are good with it, he can keep rolling.
I'm good with it. If they say,
Yeah,
I'm
if
good
they
with
say-
it, absolutely.
if they come back and tell you it's not a violation, you can do that. However you do that,
I'm just
then
asking
that's
so we
fine.
know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, hey,
Because you might not have the resolution in before. the
Yeah.
We
next
don't need a
vote.
resolution. We never have before.
Only time you
And
have
he's
a-
an employee.
you should have a resolution maybe that also would, trustee Puro could have a roll call vote and abstain. That way, it's like, if it's his family or his
Yeah.
business, that way he don't have to worry about it. You two have made that vote.
can I make a motion on the table right now that's based on his conversation with the state? Can I do that?
Yeah, I don't
that
see
all right?
why not.
Okay. Trustee Varian moves to use Puro Farms to haul stone for the road department per a conversation by Trustee Puro, just making sure that we're following correct guidelines. Once that's checked on, Trustee Varian would move to allow Puro Farms to haul.
Trustee Griffith will second that.
And then do a roll call. Varian,
Yes.
Griffith,
Yes.
and Puro.
Abstain.
Okay, cool.
Very good.
Great. And if we get that answer, then you can keep going.
Yeah, I have never called down there, but I think they answer you real fast. But I do know from everything I've sat through, the number one issue in the state of Ohio is nepotism and favoritism to your own. And they've been prosecuting people for it. And I would like to see you stay as a trustee.
I'm not going to jail for this.
No, I don't wanna see anybody have that.
So
I wonder
it's just a suggestion that you might check.
Try to picture him.
This is gonna sound silly when I say it, but I wonder in the world, like everything that's happened in the last like 3 or 4 years in our world, I wonder if some of that's changed because you can't get people to do anything. Like does nepotism change when you're like, I have no one
It's always been a
left.
problem.
I have no one left. I have to call the person I know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Well,
don't know if it's changed.
That's what it is. It's
Because-
easier to call somebody
I
you
know.
know sometimes,
I
and they
know.
just don't. But
I
if you were, and I could try to think of a little company that's hauling, well, isn't the one Parker Boy doing something or?
One apartment guy's been hauling for years.
He does excavate.
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't.
And he
have-
does-
Oh, he
that's
doesn't
it.
have a truck.
You know,
No,
But his-
But
but
he's
his-
a good example.
but his uncle's been running that black triax for
His dad.
years.
No.
That's his uncle. That's his dad.
Dad.
That's his dad. Okay.
So I'm just saying, they're gonna
Now,
say,
John's worked part-time for us over the years plowing snow,
but
but
he's not related.
he'll haul a stone and no, and he's not, yeah,
Got it.
there's no conflict there.
Got it. All right. Cool.
Okay, zoning report. And,
Or we gotta do the 7. All right.
You can talk about 17.
Oh, 17.
So, Justin contacted me about the possibility of purchasing that piece. I talked to him at the engineer's office. That's not gonna happen. We do not technically own it. We have control of it. The commissioners own the ground. We have the right to
that
use
is
it.
correct.
So
Huh.
Justin is dead in the water. He either has to move, accept it, or hope his neighbor moves. There's nothing we can do. There's no
So-
option.
I
So what
wonder if
happens when
he
you
should go-
abandon the road, though? Does it's
That's
still
what-
owned? It's
That's
still
when it's split
owned?
down the middle.
That's when it's split down the
That's why
middle.
half gets half.
I wonder if
Okay.
we shouldn't go to Nemeshilla and make some complaints.
He already has.
Oh, yes.
Has he?
Yeah.
Wow.
His problem is his house is too close to the road. If he had 20 more feet,
I know,
then you could vacate it. He could build a fence and light it.
It's tight in there. It's tight.
But if that guy, if you vacate it and that guy would go, hey, you ain't driving over this line,
Yeah.
then he can't get out of his garage.
Yeah,
you'd have a hard time turning a full-size truck around right there. It's
Oh.
tight.
And only,
well, there is another answer, and that is that we put a regular road through there. Back so far, we could do that.
that doesn't solve anything.
That doesn't solve anything.
Doesn't solve nothing.
Now, we are gonna have to take into account, because this isn't going away from Nil and Shilling. So we're
Yeah.
probably gonna have to rebuild that road if this continues at some point.
But if
We can't stop him from coming. He can pull semis, he can do whatever he wants. There's no
So-
stopping him.
so there is, I mean, not completely dead in the water in the fact that if we vacated the road and it got split in half and Nim gets half or not Nim, but the other owner gets half and he gets half, he could build up his driveway and build up a road to get out.
He's
He has-
causing us more problems.
He has enough front
He's
yard.
destroying that road.
He has enough front yard to get to the road, but he'd have to put a fence up in the middle of that road and build up a driveway, and he'd be very close
Oh,
to
yeah.
his garage.
Yeah.
If
Do you see what I'm
If
saying?
he's gonna keep taking semis and all kinds of big tow trucks in and out our road and
Yeah.
destroy it, which he already has,
Yeah.
we had to go up there and
So,
fill in
but this
huge
is
potholes.
This is the Stark County engineer that gave us this. Maybe at this point, we need to go to the county prosecutor and ask. the
Well, they
question.
have, that's what
You're right.
he sent me to
You're right, you're
somebody that works.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what her name is, had somebody call me that works with the prosecutor.
But do they know that the road that's existing, the guy from the other township is tearing our road apart?
But that road, it wasn't set up for
Oh,
that big trucks
you
coming in
can
there like
you
that.
can request a weight reduction survey, and then you could post signs that you have to, how you gonna enforce it.
My comment is if you gave up 17th Street, half of it became his, and half of it became Big Mike's auto repair, truck and auto repair, then he'd come into his grass and build himself a new road out to the street and put a fence up. But what happens is it makes the space between his house and his new fence really tight,
Really tight now,
really tight.
because he's splitting it down the middle of that
That's
road.
right.
It's not even that, I
That's
think
right.
it's more on this side.
If
See,
you survey it, you'd have to figure that out.
Justin's got a fence in there. I don't think you could drive through there.
You don't think you could fit between the house and the new road?
Auditor's website, just MapQuest. for me.
That's enough to see though, Brian.
There's a fence right here.
Wait, stand on the other side. Okay.
There's like a fence right here
On his side or on the other
on
side?
Justin's side.
Oh, okay.
Why is there a fence there?
The fence is fine. It's
Okay.
not, it's just like a
Picket.
two-bar
Okay.
split rail fence. They let you can look right through it.
Okay.
What the engineers are scared of is they think this road is actually creep forward, north.
Okay.
So it may not be a center split.
Yeah.
He might get 70%, he might get 30%.
He might get 10 inches in that
Yeah.
road.
And he ain't gonna have enough to come out of his driveway and turn to try
They're
to go out the
pretty,
driveway.
they're pretty confident that it's going north,
Okay.
but they don't know how much. So this guy hasn't been in business very long, and if he treats customers as bad as he's treating him, he ain't gonna last anyway, probably. Who knows? He might not, and he might get tired of this area and might move to town.
He needs to go to a better area.
And he may, that may that's what I told Justin, it may take care of itself one way or another. Or he's gotta make a decision and move.
Yeah, which he could do.
He also, if he really wanted to, he could come around the south side of his house, then he could put a fence along the edge of the road where his split rail fence is. But
Isn't that an attached garage too that's there? Isn't that attached to the house?
I think it's attached. It's really small. It's like a one car.
Right, but I'm saying he could actually not use that as a garage, put a garage out to maybe the back of his house, bring his driveway the other way.
Years ago, there was no driveway there.
But I'm
That
saying. he
driveway
could
did not come around and hook into 17th Street.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's the
Their
newest.
driveway come in up there like it is up north, and that was it.
Yep,
Curved
you're
around there to the house.
The
It
newest
never
part
came-
of that is right.
It never
where it's-
came down like where you just took the
Right.
hand and on
I'm
our
talking
road.
about the guy that.
I was talking about the Osnaburg guy. Yeah, you could come in off the bottom and
You
come
could-
up,
Right,
but it's going to cost him money.
it's gonna cost him money.
It's going to cost
Put
him
up a
money.
different garage, put your car.
But
in.
it's getting to be more work for us because he's tearing that road to pieces.
well, there's nothing you can do about that. Other than that, you could have to petition for a road reduction,
No.
Axle reduction.
they have to do a study And then you're spending it.
He's
It
coming
can
in,
be
he's coming in
done.
on us all the time, but he ain't hardly using his
I
driveway.
have a question, and maybe I'm all wet here. If Osnaburg decided to vacate the road and Nimishillen Township went in with us and said, and made a motion that they don't want any of it, do you still have to give half of it to the neighbor?
Oh, it's going to him. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
It doesn't have anything to do with him.
Doesn't have anything to do with Nimishillen.
It's the
Okay.
two property owners.
It's the two property owners. Okay.
Oh, yeah, he's not gonna turn that down. I'm speaking for Big Mike, but I would be shocked if he would.
No, I see what you're saying. I didn't know if there was anything NIM could do to help us through that, you know.
Right.
Okay.
Well, maybe somebody needs to have a conversation with someone over from Nimishillen to say, this guy's tearing the road up.
Yeah.
You're not helping us at all.
I think that the zoning inspector's already been out there multiple times.
He don't care.
I can call George.
Sounds like he doesn't care. Said it ain't his problem because it's not.
Not his road.
It's not his road. But his township person sure
But I'm
likes to
saying-
use it.
His resident.
Resident wants to
The other
use it.
trustees from Nimishillen should care.
But what are they gonna do? There's nothing they can do.
The only thing we can do, like you just said, is a weight reduction. That's the only thing you do and and you'd have cameras up and stuff to catch him when he brings something big and heavy in there like that. And nail him for it.
What did we decide that is? It's just weirdly zoned.
It is.
It's out in rural
It was
residential.
never a problem until this guy.
It's out in
came
rural
again and
residential. It's
started
running a business.
Bringing huge trucks in.
Yeah.
Well, let's at least put a weight reduction on it. Let's try to do that.
I think you have to do a study on it. You have to do something through the engineers, and I don't know who
You
pays
do for a
for.
speed study, but I didn't know you had to do it for a weight reduction.
You have to do something because
There's a
they
certain
told
time
me.
of the year that you're supposed to do it, or they give you that opportunity, like if you guys and Stu wanted to put up signs for bridges and roads, like for frost coming up out of the ground, there is something there.
Whatever they do, they told me
The
it would
county
be,
usually does that.
I think it'd be between $6,000 and $10,000.
To do a weight reduction?
That's what they told me. He said it costs money. He said, if that's what you want to pursue, but he said, good luck on policing it. He goes,
Yeah.
you put signs up all down through there, but who's gonna stop it?
Man,
Yeah, it'd have to.
we're
be
really
the
trying,
sheriff.
aren't we? We're really trying to.
Yeah,
make this work.
I'm with you with putting the sign, but he's not,
Yeah.
they're just gonna blow right by him.
Yeah.
And we don't have a right to put a barrier alongside our roads,
As far as.
in our road right away.
Yeah, like a barrier at the bottom of that driveway.
You mean to block him out?
You mean like put a
No,
guardrail
no,
across
I'm not
there?
saying- I'm not saying blocking. I'm saying along our roads, do we have the right to, well, what if we wanted to put up guardrail or something that's on each side of our road there for whatever reason? The way he's got to make that corner and the width of his trucks, he's probably not going to be able to turn into
He
it.
just tears up our stuff. That's all he's gonna do.
That's a really cool, interesting question.
Oh, I don't think there's anything,
It's-
I think you can put guardrail up if you wanted to.
It's a
Along-
township road,
in our road right away.
right? Could you put a guardrail up?
That's what I don't understand about this whole thing. This is our township road. And we have a road right away, however wide that is. I think Mary looked into that or somebody did. It was like 25 or 27 feet. It ain't a full
Right.
30.
That's what I'm saying. If we put
I don't
up,
understand why we can't put a Gerstein guardrail right down through there and block his driveway.
well, I don't think we can block
You
his
can't.
access, but we could they can't stop us from putting the guardrail down through there.
What,
And
and
that's
you
gonna
mean
keep
come
him
up to
from-
his driveway, skip across and go a little farther
No,
with
we
it
don't
and make
care
it
about
narrow so
going-
he can't turn, you mean?
We don't care about going the other way on it. If we put it along there,
There's a
then,
lot of room in there, you can just swing out, you'd have to do both sides.
He'll go out into Justin's yard like he
But you
does
could
now.
you could make it small enough that a car fits through and a rollback doesn't.
The only thing that they warned me of is, all right, so you're gonna put a guardrail up to a flat area. What's the guardrail for?
Yeah,
You're a pretty
yeah.
good chance
Yeah.
that.
County
you-
engineers are gonna say, why is
No.
that guardrail there?
That's not, it's, you're showing, you're showing aggression to him, and there's a good chance we're gonna get sued.
You said it.
Well, the
So
road
high-speed
right away
area.
is to keep the vehicles on the road because they're breaking our berms apart.
I
I
would
don't
go,
know. I think we should ask about it at least.
I think you'll be surprised on what it would cost to put guardrail on both sides of that road.
You know,
Well,
you know what it costs for a guard up? You might as well use the money to go and beef the road up.
You might as well pave the road. I'll bet you it'd be 100,000.
I don't know that you'd have to do it the whole way though.
What, you ain't,
I will tell you, this might not help at all, but in my experience with guardrails and the county engineer, I've lobbied hard for guardrails right over Orchard View by the Apple Barrel, because people were leaving the road, hitting the building, hit it 2 or 3 times, and I lost. They're like, the guardrail will push the person leaving the road back into the road right away. No. And I said, all right, how far back do I have to go before I would get sued, before I put up my own? And they gave me, and I went out with a tape measure in the middle of the road, and I went back and I put up concrete pillars about 35 feet back. And that's the you don't get sued spot. If they're any closer, I'm in trouble. But I could not get a guardrail. They did not want a guardrail. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. But you can't really block the guy from entering a road because it's a public road.
Yeah, but it's not that wide.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it's not that.
Trustees, I only always question, like Stu was saying, that was never a wraparound big horseshoe and he created it. I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, do we have road access that we could say, okay, you already have access to your property from Broadway? Can't you say, well, you didn't have official permission to make another access on your property? Or, I mean, we don't have nothing like that.
We have access management, but they're only required to apply for access on county roads, not township roads. They're not required to.
So if somebody builds a new house, if someone wants to put a driveway to a county road
You have to pay a fee
to be attached to
On
that county
county.
road.
and they have to approve for line of sight,
Got it.
and there's a fee attached
But
with it.
township roads, no.
No,
So you can drop a new driveway down anywhere you want on a township road.
correct.
After they talk to Stu, our road superintendent.
Boss man.
All right, well, if there's
That's what I
nothing we can
call it.
do for you, I mean, it's not like we've been,
I mean, it's not like we haven't tried. We've been trying. I just feel bad. I just feel like there's got to be a solution.
all I know is when we went up there this year, it took over an hour or two to fix all the big, huge potholes that was in that driveway, that little short stretch right there.
I know what the solution would be for the guy on the Osnaburg side to get a couple trucks and park them on the road.
Oh, no, you can't. The sheriffs have already been out there. They'll tell them. I mean, it's
Have they towed
because
anything yet?
they've threatened both of them. Oh yeah, they can't. Justin left it running there for 10 minutes or 12 minutes according to Justin, and he called the sheriff. The sheriff come out and said, "You gotta go to the off the roadway." He can't. That guy doesn't park in the roadway.
He just uses
He knows where to park.
He's parking on our road right away.
Yeah, he is parking.
He's parking on our road right away.
That's why I said.
Not
I know he ain't on the road, but he's in our road right away.
Yeah.
We got 27 and 5 or 7 feet down through there.
Well, he might have done that every time I've been
You've
there,
seen those
he stays
pictures.
about 7 or 8 feet off the road.
Not all the time.
I was over there one time, he lined cars up down through there.
I know it.
I'll tell you, that picture right there.
I've
is
drove in there
deceiving.
many times
If
and
you
seen
go
them
down
lined up.
there, those houses are way closer together than what it looks like on them.
I know it does.
You can softly throw a baseball between the two houses, and they hit each other. It looks bigger than it
There was
is.
no problem there until he brought that business in there and started bringing big trucks in there, which is tearing our road up, and we can't do a stinking thing about it. I don't understand that.
Well, like I said,
Like, we have no rights.
you got rights.
Well, that's-
You got rights to build it up.
That's the question that should go to the prosecutor. You know, not through the engineers, but through,
There's nothing you can do.
well, it doesn't hurt to ask them.
The engineers talked to the prosecutor.
Yeah, but I think it would behoove us to talk to him ourselves. To see. Because sometimes prosecutors just are giving their own personal opinion, not really the law.
That little driveway there was never set up to have big trucks coming down it.
And the other thing is, who wants to live next to somebody that you're fighting with all the
Oh,
time?
I know, that'd be terrible.
It'd be
So-
terrible. I know it's
Just
terrible.
It'd be
move,
terrible. Terrible.
rent your house out.
When you get to a certain point, that guardrail, fence, they're still fighting and they're still neighbors. You know, so
Like, yeah.
it makes
why
it
live
hard.
there?
It makes it hard.
All right,
Well, all right.
moving on to zoning.
Okay.
And that is, zoning inspector Brocker is on vacation. She looks like she has, one new certificate issued for Ronald Schaefer for an addition.
Okay.
I'm assuming she turned that money in, Brian?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then on her violations report, let's see. The Swallen Avenue, the guy said he mentioned about building a fence. He has cars, they don't meet the criteria for us to have them towed, which is the state's criteria, not our criteria.
Is this the property that he built a pole building and he was gonna put the cars inside and it's
No.
an issue? Different one, okay.
At least he's keeping them at the back of the property. He doesn't have them out front.
All right.
Where's
It's
this at?
just, again, some neighbors probably irritated.
Where's this at?
Cross Merrick
Brian, can
Fields.
you pull that up?
Cross Merrick Fields.
Oh, that place, okay.
25.
Yeah, that was the-
2555
Pole building.
Swallen.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, he built a pole building. in the
There's a
back.
parcel number. Do you want it?
Yeah, let me get back to the other.
You got ground.
Yeah, he's outgrown his building. That happens. Can never build a building big enough. really.
3703 194.
So what are they complaining on now with that building?
I think
I don't
he's,
know.
I think he's storing some more
So
outside
from
of
that
it.
side.
He's probably parting it out.
If that's the parcel, that's old because there's a building in the back now.
There's a little building there. How big a
He bought a
building?
pole, he bought a pole building.
Yeah, old building.
Yeah, there's a pole building back there. Kind
There's two cars sitting back there.
of where the car sits.
So it's probably a neighbor on one side or the other doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Probably the one with the swimming pool.
Mhm.
Could be.
Well, I think that they're driving right by that, by the looks of that picture.
Yeah.
They've been complaining about this for a long time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room on either side of that house.
No, there really isn't. He can barely go past there, closest.
Yeah, to get stuff in the backyard, right.
Well, even where
Where
that.
your arrow
swimming
is
pool
right there, right now,
Look like a
there's
whole
just
lot.
barely enough room to go around there between the house and the other property. Person's property. It looks wide, but it ain't.
She has no change on three of our current issues there. We are scheduled for a zoning commission meeting on next Monday, the 17th. And at this time, there's no BZA hearing scheduled. All right, any Old Township business? Hearing none. Any new township business?
I've got something for New Township. I got an email from a young lady that's works with the National Fitness Campaign. And they build something called a fitness court. And I was gonna have Fiscal Officer Lowry play this little video, if he doesn't mind, if it loads. I don't have to watch the whole thing, we probably can get a good feel for it, but I have all the details here and I'll explain here in a second. I'm thinking about this for, I don't know, Suko's property or maybe something else. if it's something we would want to look into.
We're changing the way America thinks about fitness. From college campuses to city parks and trails, we're bringing free fitness everywhere, and we're just getting started. Hi, I'm Richard, founder of the National Fitness Campaign. The National Fitness Campaign was founded in 1979 when we opened the first fitness court. Redesigned for the 21st century, the fitness court is the world's best outdoor gym. Our 7-movement, 7-minute system allows you to use your own body weight to get the perfect workout. Easy or hard, it will work for you. Our goal is to build healthy communities by making outdoor fitness an essential part of people's lives so that each day is better than the last. Now more than ever before, it is vital that we move fitness outdoors to remain safe, healthy, and strong.
Michiganders, as soon as we can, we go outside, which is one of the reasons why the fitness court was such an attraction to us. What impressed us most was their basic philosophy that they wanted to buy world-class fitness for free. Truly, anyone can use it, no matter what your age is, no matter what your physical fitness level is, no matter what your skills are. It is very adaptable.
Thousands of certified ambassadors will be trained to deliver classes, challenges, and clinics as part of our National Fitness Campaign. New programs are bringing students outdoors across America. The Fitness Court mobile app is your gateway to enroll in these programs. Simply scan the new digital wall with your phone to access a library of free workouts designed to optimize your experience on the fitness court. Learn the moves and take challenges as we dig deep to create impact for our partners across America. This year, we are thrilled to introduce Fitness Court Public Art. Cities have the opportunity to select a local artist to design their fitness court using the power of the arts and fitness outdoors in iconic public spaces. We're proud to have helped cities of all sizes raise millions of dollars from respected sponsors to support free fitness. Wherever fitness is a priority, you can find a fitness. We're partnering with large cities using urban movement data to map the best locations for healthy infrastructure. We're bringing fitness courts to within 10 minutes of population centers everywhere.
They provide these wraparound services that, from the city's perspective, that's what you want in a partner like this. You want it to come presented to you on a silver platter with a bow tie around it. They're one of the best partners, I think, that I personally have ever worked with.
We serve almost 1.2 million members across Michigan. And this partnership really is an opportunity for us to bring scalable, free health and wellness opportunities for our community. So I would actually invite cities and organizations, big and small, to explore the opportunity to invest in fitness courts. To be very honest with you, the feedback from different municipalities and different communities has been very positive.
We're committed to raise $150 million to bring the campaign to 1,000 cities and schools, building the largest fitness movement in the world. Join us. Let's make world-class fitness free.
So I took a Zoom call with a young lady that's in charge of kind of selling this product. So they obviously gear their funds toward larger populated areas. But after speaking to her, there's a grant involved. It's a really cool process. I think for us, as small as we are, it would be hard to pull off financially. The fitness court costs about $36,000 to put in, and they cover like $6,000 to $8,000. So it's a pretty large chunk of money to swallow. But something to consider, and we could look into in the future. But I thought it was interesting to at least hear about, see what they have. And I printed one just because it's all color, but this is everything you saw in a packet. So there's a step process. You making one as a priority. They have to know that your area is going to benefit from it. And there's a site plan, there's a funding match, and there's a campaign. And they have people that come in and actually build it for you. And then they have a process in which they help you keep it maintained through some local contractors. So thought it was worth presenting.
They talked about the fitness app. Is that a free app, or would people who are using it have to buy
Yes,
that
that's a
app?
free app, and you can download it right there at the court, and you can
So that would give them more information. I mean, I thought that was kind of cool.
yeah.
So,
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, interesting to, I'd like to start talking about what that might be at Sucos. And I had her look it up on the map when we had our Zoom call, and she liked that it was close to the other park that was already there. Because when you look at the map, you realize that that piece of property is really close to where
well,
we.
it's only a couple hundred yards.
Yeah. She was like, oh, well, if you could tie that park to what you're doing in that big 50-acre chunk, because it was just
Right.
teal field on her map, because that's what it is. So she's like, I like the concept of, being a park being that close that they can use it. And then I mentioned our local school and that we were building a field house, and that, something like this may benefit the school and some of that green area up there next to the field house, something like this, being just a little closer to town. So I just wanted to lift it up. So thank you.
So since you're mentioning, did you happen to get a hold of whichever one of you was going to call Doug's brother?
That was me. I have not got a hold of him. I have to call Doug to get his number. I made a call to Doug and I didn't follow up.
Okay.
I didn't get a hold of Doug. I gotta get a hold of Doug to get, what's his name, number, our client, more person morning.
Okay, because we got to find out. if
Joe.
they're-
I gotta get Joe. I don't have
Yeah.
Joe's number.
And I actually didn't realize I was coming back from Carrollton, but they have an office down there going on the way from Malvern to Carrollton.
That might be I'm not sure, but that might be the main office.
Yeah, there's usually not anybody there, but I think that's that. Is it Bodo Surveying, I think?
That sounds familiar. I just know he's been down there, he's been working for them for a long time.
Okay, but we just need to find out if we're still on their track. If we're not,
Yeah.
because he said,
I did talk to Phil through email for
Okay.
Huntington Bank, and he said, as long as you're still working on it, he says, get that guy moving or something. He had a little like LOL, like he understands that you deal
Yeah.
with stuff like this every now and then. He didn't seem like, oh no, you gotta get this done tomorrow. He's aware of it.
I don't think there's a lot of surveyors left anymore, is there?
there was a couple of them that passed away through COVID. I don't know. I'd have to Google it out there.
I'll call Doug. Conley.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not available, then we'll definitely look for another one.
Right.
So, okay, well, any other business? All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
On favor?
Aye.
There's one check that was missed. Hang on one second, guys. There you go. Okay, there was one that was hiding.